Masturbation to porn makes you weaker and weaker as a man. And it also makes you worse at being a man. Let's get into it. But first, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Amjad Mosha Wamala. I am here to help you quit the habit of masturbating to porn, but without you needing to fight those sexual urges, but by actually using those sexual urges and Islamic tactics to quit the habit of masturbating to porn forever. And a quick trigger warning, this is for a more mature audience. This video is not for kids. So if you're a child watching this, then click off this video now. Now let's begin. The first way it makes you weaker and worse at being a man. Well, one of the ways it makes you weaker and worse at being a man is lacking impulse control. Make no mistake, masturbating to porn is an impulsive action. It's an impulsive thing to do. Whenever you get that sexual urge, that sexual feeling, or a sexual thought, or when you see something sexual, your first instinct is to go and masturbate. The first thing that comes to your mind is, let me solve this by going to masturbate. That is an impulsive action, and the more impulsive you are, the more times you do impulsive things, the more impulsive actions you take, the more impulsive you become as a person. And the more impulsive you become as a person, the more impulsive and stupid decisions you make. As a man, you cannot be making stupid decisions in your life. They put you at risk. You use more emotion than you do logic. And as a man, you have to be logical in life. You cannot make impulsive decisions. You cannot make decisions that don't make sense, that are illogical, such as masturbating to porn. The next way it makes you worse at being a man is you're wasting your precious sexual energy. You know that lust you feel, that sexual energy that you feel before you actually go to masturbate. That lust that you feel that actually somewhat also leads you to masturbation. That feeling that you have when you waste your precious sexual energy on masturbating to porn. That sexual energy is actually powerful. These days we're told that you have to kill that sexual energy, you have to kill that lust. But you probably have tried to kill that lust. And look where it has led you to. Look how well it has worked out for you. Has trying to kill your lust actually worked out for you? No, it actually hasn't. You resisting that lust actually put you under so much pressure that you want to relieve that stress. You want to relieve that pressure by masturbating to porn. That sexual energy can be used to actually improve yourself as a man. It can be used to help you ascend as a man. Throughout the ages, men have been using that sexual energy to actually improve, to actually conquer, to become stronger, to actually lead armies. Men have been doing this for centuries. Because they knew that if they were going to become a conqueror, if they were going to ascend as a man, they would get more women. That more women would be attracted to them, more women would want them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If somebody is telling you that, oh, you shouldn't be doing things for girls, you shouldn't be doing things for women, they are fools. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you wanting women. And there's nothing wrong, for that matter, of women wanting men. The only reasons why human beings do try to go out of their way to do these amazing things that they do is to actually attract the opposite gender. The reason why men become more in shape, why men get more, why men make more money, why men study game and whatever, is to attract women. Similarly, the only reason why women do the things that they do, they wear revealing clothing, they wear makeup, is to get attention from men. They are part of they'll lie to themselves. They'll say that, I'm just doing it to look good, I'm just doing it for myself. If men didn't exist in this world, women would not be doing such things. You can use that sexual energy to become the man who is worthy of attracting women, to become the man who women would actually be lustful for, to become the man who women would actually be attracted to. And make no mistakes, women are not attracted to men who masturbate to porn. It is one of the most ugliest and disgusting traits to have as a human being. Somebody who regularly masturbates to porn. Somebody who regularly watches porn. That is an unattractive trait. The next way masturbating to porn makes you weaker and worse at being a man is that when every single time you masturbate to porn, you're actually tricking your brain into thinking that you've accomplished anything, that you've conquered women. When you watch porn and when you masturbate to porn, you actually trick your brain into thinking that you're being intimate with these women, that you're having sex with these women. Your brain cannot actually tell the difference between what's on a screen and reality. The human brain on a biological level was not trained to recognize a screen. Even right now, when you're watching this video, on a logical level, you know that that this is just a video, that I'm not actually with you right now. But biologically, your brain actually thinks that I'm having a conversation with you. Your brain actually thinks that I'm talking to you in your room right now, or your car, or wherever you happen to be. When you're continuously watching women being sexy and whatever on a screen, your brain actually thinks that you have access to these women. That these women are actually in front of you and presenting themselves in front of you for sex. And when you masturbate to it, on a biological level, your brain actually thinks you're having sex with these women. Biologically, when you masturbate, when you're having sex with your own hand, your brain really just recognizes a pleasurable feeling on your genitals, and your brain thinks, oh, there's a pleasurable feeling on my genitals. That means I'm having sex. That means I'm being intimate. It doesn't actually really know that you are having sex. It doesn't actually really know that you're masturbating. It just recognizes pleasurable feeling on my genitals, naked women there. That means I'm having sex with them. That's really all your brain recognizes. And you're actually tricking yourself into thinking that you're having sex with these women. And you think that this is such an accomplishment because, yes, being intimate with women and multiple women is an accomplishment because it's where you can procreate, where you can pass on your genetic legacy. And your brain thinks that, yeah, I'm actually accomplishing this. I'm actually succeeding in this department. But after it's done, after you finish masturbating, you're immediately hit with a reality. You're immediately hit with the reality that you're not a conqueror. You've not accomplished anything. You've not actually won. You're just a loser who masturbated to pixels on a screen. And it also makes you want to work less harder because you have this instant access on anyway. Or biologically, your brain says, I don't need to work hard. I don't need to become stronger. I don't need to improve my leadership abilities or improve my communication or just improve myself as a man. I already have it all. Because I'm masturbating to porn, I'm having sex biologically. That's what your brain thinking. I'm having sex with these women. I've won. I'm a king. I have a company. I don't need to actually work hard. So biologically, your brain doesn't think that you need to work hard. That you don't actually need to strive and improve on yourself. And then when you do this for years and years and years, those are years gone by of you actually not putting in the effort, of you not actually working hard, of you staying in this exact same predicament that you are in right now. The other reason it makes you worse at being a man is because you're reinforcing every time you masturbate to porn, as particularly once it's done, you are reinforcing to yourself that you're weak, that you are a loser. Because once you're done fapping, once you're done masturbating, like I mentioned before, you immediately hit with this reality that you're not a warrior, you're not a king, you haven't accomplished anything in life. That is exactly why you feel so miserable and depressed. That is one of the reasons why you feel so sad, you feel so terrible, you feel so miserable and depressed after you've masturbated. Because you're hit with this reality. And when you're constantly telling yourself that you're a loser, that you're constantly weak, you're constantly making yourself feel this way, you don't actually want to put in the effort because you're reinforcing, you're having these feelings of being weak, being pathetic, and being a loser. You're constantly having these feelings after you masturbate. So your motivation is just at its all-time low. Your motivation is just down. And when your motivation is down, you don't want to really accomplish anything in life. It's also a humiliation ritual. You're literally saying to yourself, I cannot get women. So let me just masturbate to porn. Let me just masturbate inside of my own hand. You literally think about the act of masturbation. You are having sex with your own hand. You're ejaculating in your own hand. What the hell? You're having sex with yourself because you can't actually have sex with women. That's a humiliation ritual. And then the world tells us that this is normal, that this is just fine. When you search this up on internet, if masturbation is normal, and if you would even to ask your school teachers, they will tell you that masturbation is just a normal thing. They'll just say that masturbation is a thing that people do. I've even heard, oh yeah, it's been done since the beginning of mankind. The ancient Greeks were doing it. The Romans were doing it. The ancient Egyptians were doing it. All these people are doing it. So it's normal. So it's fine. It is not normal to masturbate. And it sure as hell is not fine for you to masturbate. It's a humiliation ritual. And you're continuously telling yourself that you cannot get women. So the best solution, the best course of action is not to advance to a point where you can get women. It's not to improve on yourself and to become stronger and to become mentally stronger and to improve your finances and doing what it takes to attract women. No, you're telling yourself the solution is, yeah, just masturbate. That will make you feel better. The next way masturbating to porn makes you worse at being a man is that you ruin your dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical messenger in your brain. It's released when you're experiencing something enjoyable. Dopamine helps you learn what feels good. Dopamine is also responsible for drive and motivation. It's also responsible for making you want to pursue things, wanting to pursue hard things. It helps with focus. It helps you seek rewards. It helps you to become more ambitious. It makes you more goal-driven, more goal-oriented. But when you're regularly masturbating to porn, what do you think it does to your dopamine? It literally fries your dopamine receptors. When you're not masturbating to porn, when your dopamine is just normal, just baseline. But then when you start masturbating to porn, when you regularly masturbate your porn, your dopamine goes up, and then once you finish masturbating to porn, once you've ejaculated, once it's over, your dopamine just plummets. Lower than baseline, lower than it was normally. And what do you think happens when you continuously and regularly masturbate? You end up decreasing your dopamine lower and lower than baseline. The new baseline becomes even lower than it was before you started this habit of masturbating to porn. That is why you feel so lazy. That is why you feel so unmotivated. Why do you think it is that you don't want to really pursue anything in life? You don't really have a purpose or a goal in your life? Because that reward-seeking chemical, that chemical that helps you become more ambitious, has been ruined. It has been fried as a result of you masturbating to porn too much. As a result of these sharp drops in dopamine. As a result of these regular drops in dopamine. Masturbating to porn also makes you a lazier person, a lazier human being. When you release dopamine in healthy and natural ways that are not porn and masturbation, things such as passing your driving exam, lifting the heaviest weights possible, or passing an assignment in college or university, memorizing an ayah out of the Quran even. Dopamine is released naturally. Not only that, but they build character, they build resilience, they make you want to never give up. When you release dopamine in these ways, they build character and they build internal strength. When you're masturbating to porn regularly and seeking dopamine in this cheap and pathetic way, you're not building any character, you're not building any strength, you're not building any resilience. This makes you worse at being a man. Because as a result of you wanting to seek dopamine in this kind of way, you're not building strength, you're not building character, and you're not improving yourself as a man. The next way masturbation to porn makes you worse at being a man, it's literally a cuck simulation. It makes you a cuck. I explained this in a previous video. The next way masturbating to porn makes you worse at being a man is that it is literally a cuck simulation. You're literally watching another man being intimate with women that you're attracted to. And you're used to pleasing yourself. You're used to sexually stimulating yourself from such images, from such ideas of other men plowing women that you're attracted to. Astaghfirullah, how disgusting. In case you don't know what a cuck is, it's basically a man who fancies the idea of other men being intimate with his wife, or with women that he is attracted to, or with women that he wants. In Islam, we call this a dayuth. A dayuth is literally a cuck. That's literally what a cuck means. That's literally what dayuth means. It means a cuck. This is one of the worst kind of people to be. A kind of man who doesn't mind, who's perfectly comfortable with other men being intimate with his wife or wives. The way it works is when you're regularly masturbating to porn, when you're regularly seeing images of other men being intimate with women that you're attracted to, and you're masturbating to it. You're teaching yourself, you're training yourself, you're teaching yourself to be sexually stimulated by actually enjoying such images. And then this transitions into real life. When a actual woman is presented to you, and when you're intimate with your wife, you'll get weird ideas of, what if another man gets intimate with my wife? You will actually fancy the idea of other men or another man being intimate with your wife. Remember, on a biological level, what you see on a screen is the same as reality. When you're actually seeing another man being intimate with women that you're attracted to on a screen, you biologically your brain registers it you actually seeing it in real life. Your brain actually thinks that you're experiencing this in real life. And when you're masturbating and masturbating such disgusting images by such disgusting things, you're teaching your brain to enjoy such things, to actually be sexually stimulated and aroused by such things. If you don't want to be morphed into such a youth cock, if you don't want this to actually happen to you in real life, then quit masturbating to porn while you still can. Now let's get into some solutions. I want you to actually get a pen and paper and write these solutions down. This isn't some mindless entertainment kind of video. Getting a pen and paper and writing things down, this is actually how you learn from this video. So take this seriously. The first thing to do is you actually have to repent to Allah for all the times that you have masturbated. And there's a specific way of repenting to Allah. The way it goes as follows. First of all, you start off by stopping the sin. You stop whatever it is that you're doing. In this case, masturbating to porn. Firstly, start off by stopping the act completely. At this point, you're obviously not masturbating to porn because you're watching this video. You're not really watching porn and masturbating while watching this video, are you? So you've already done that part. The second thing is you actually have to have hatred for the sin. You actually have to hate the fact that you masturbate to porn. You actually have to hate the whole concept of masturbating to porn. And then you make an oath to Allah, you make a promise to Allah that you will never go back to the sin again. You make a firm intention to never go back to doing that sin ever again. Then you get into actually asking Allah for forgiveness. You say astaghfirullah and you sincerely beg Allah for forgiveness. You sincerely ask Allah to forgive you for all the sins that you have done. And you sincerely ask Allah to help you stop committing this sin. The next thing I want you to do is to actually start making dua. The method of making dua is, first of all, you glorify Allah. Then you ask Allah to have mercy upon Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. You ask Allah to send peace and blessings upon Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. Then you ask Allah for forgiveness. And then you actually go into making dua. You have to sincerely, from the bottom of your heart, make dua to Allah to help you through this journey. Make dua to Allah to get you to a point where the thought of masturbating to porn doesn't even cross your mind. You make an oath to Allah that the urge, seemingly the urge to masturbate to porn doesn't even cross your mind. It doesn't even come to your brain. You ask Allah to get to the point where the mere thought of masturbating to porn just disgusts you. Let me share with you a good time to actually make dua. A good time to make dua is while you're praying, specifically when you're in sujood. Sujood is a position where you're on your hands and your knees and your forehead is on the ground. You say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times and then you actually make the dua. When you're in that position, after saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times, you make dua in that position. Remember, when you're in that position, you are the closest to Allah. A servant of Allah is closest to Allah when he's in the position of sujood. So you make dua while you're in that position. This is actually one of the moments and one of the times where Allah actually answers your dua. So take advantage of these opportunities. Allah answers duas at any time. You can make dua at any time you want and Allah can answer your dua at any time. But this is the position that you want to be in. This is one of the times where your duas are more likely to get answered. Next, I want to remind you, and I also want you to remind yourself that you are far too good to be wasting your time masturbating to porn. You are far too good to be wasting your precious sexual energy on a disgusting habit that is masturbating to porn. You are far above the thing that these shayateen call you towards. And you're far above what these Delta people tell you is just fine, it's just normal. Be among the warriors of Allah. The warriors of Allah who know that masturbation is haram, that masturbation is a sin. They don't even get the urge or the thought to masturbate to porn. They just know that masturbation to porn is a completely disgusting and unworthy activity. Look at masturbation to porn exactly for what it is. A useless, pointless activity that provides no benefit to you whatsoever. You don't deserve masturbation to porn. What you actually deserve as a Muslim man is marriage. that lust, that sexual energy that you have, that urge that you have, needs to be put into what it was actually intended to be put into: marriage. And if you're not married in this situation, then use that pent up sexual energy into becoming the man who is worthy of getting married. Let me also point out that masturbation to porn is completely and utterly useless. Watching porn, for example, because literally this might sound a bit off or might sound a bit vulgar to you guys, but I'm just gonna blurt it out anyway. I'm just gonna spell it out for you guys. If you really wanted to see sexual images, if you really wanted to visualize or see something like nudity or whatsoever, or nude women or whatsoever, you can literally just imagine these things. Sexual fantasies and sexual thoughts aren't even haram at the end of the day. They only become haram if you act upon them, which is to commit zina and to watch porn and masturbate to porn. That is the only time where having sexual thoughts becomes haram, when you actually act upon them. And if you're constantly talking about your sexual thoughts, then of course, yeah, then it becomes haram. But if you're just there in your room just imagining sexual things, then they're not a problem. And guess what? That makes porn completely useless. You don't need to watch porn to see nudity or to get the experience of seeing nude women or whatever. Just imagine these things. Just imagine yourself being intimate with your future wife or wives. Masturbation is completely useless as well, because your body just releases those sexual urges naturally. When you have the urge, when you feel the need to ejaculate, your body will release these things naturally. Your body will ejaculate naturally via a wet dream, aka nocturnal emissions, aka nightfalls. Since you've been masturbating for God knows how long, you've not really had the chance to have those nocturnal emissions. When you masturbate regularly, your body doesn't feel the need to have nocturnal emissions, to have wet dreams. But if you withhold the urge, if you withhold the want to masturbate to porn, or masturbate in general, your body will just find a natural way of releasing these urges. You will notice this. Go through a long time without masturbating, and you have that pent up sexual energy, that pent up sexual aggression. You really want to let it out, but you tell yourself, "I can't masturbate. I want to let it out, but I can't masturbate." And then when you go to sleep, you will have the wet dream, and then you ejaculate, and then you're fine. And these wet dreams are usually come in one of three ways. One, you will dream about something sexual, and then of course you ejaculate while you're in your sleep. Two, you will actually feel the ejaculation while you're sleeping. You'll feel something coming out. Or the third one is, one, you'll just wake up one day and then there's a mess in your trousers, and then you're thinking, hey, what the heck is this? Where did this come from? That was your body releasing those sexual. That was your body ejaculating while you're in your sleep. So there you go. Next, are you actually gonna allow yourself to be beaten by a bunch of pixels on a screen? Are you really gonna masturbate to some guy's imagination? I will let you answer that question. And that's the end of the video. Assalamu alaikum and take care.